So the A circuits, even though they're numbered 1 through 8, it's not necessarily a process that's completely linear. It's not like you go from 1 to 3 and you just go in a linear way. It does have a linear element to it, but it's also chiefly non-linear because you can have upper circuits like circuits 5 to 8 active at the same time or even before the lower circuits are activated. So just with that said, circuit 1 refers to physical intelligence. It's basically the body's instinctive reactions to the environment and the orientation there is primarily physical survival. And getting better at that basically is the way you increase physical intelligence. You simply get better at surviving on the planet. Second circuit refers to emotional intelligence, and that kind of brings you into your own personal experience of the territorial instincts. What is it that you can actually call your own, and where it is that you project your territoriality into your environment, things that you call your own, sometimes misplacing it and trying to control other people, and things like that. So second circuit involves power dynamics and issues around control or not control. Third circuit refers to intellectual development, how we make sense of things, how we kind of create maps of the territory of our existence, how we explain things to ourselves and others. Circuit 4 called social moral intelligence. And so this moves us into the kind of intelligence we have in relating with people. Typically, your social intelligence can be measured by the degree of how many kinds of people you can get along with. Individuals that tend to get along with the greatest variety of individuals and human beings tend to have a higher social intelligence, and then people who can only get along with a very small group of people tend to have a lower social intelligence. And here the thing is that you can have, you see this all the time, people with really high third circuit intelligence, like they got this really high IQ intellectual quotient kind of intelligence, and they can have a really low social intelligence. They just don't get along with that many numbers of people. So intelligence here is measured in really different ways with each circuit. And then going into circuit 5, what we call the upper circuits. And upper and lower doesn't mean like better or worse. That's the thing that sometimes confuses people. It's more about survival orientation. The first 4 circuits, physical, emotional, conceptual, and social, are more about survival orientation, as in physical, emotional, intellectual, social survival. Circuits 5 through 8 are more post-survival, meaning once you've got your survival needs met, it's a lot, I think, easier and maybe more natural to start exploring post-survival experiences. And with Circuit 5 is simply your capacity for bliss and rapture and a high level of well-being, completely free of anxiety. Circuit 6, we move into psychic intelligence. And that brings you into those experiences of clairvoyance and being able to kind of start seeing through the lies and fabrications of society and social conditioning and seeing through into the underlying dynamics of what it means to be human beyond our conditioning. So it brings it its own kind of perspective and vision of things that becomes clearer and clearer. Circuit 7 puts us into a very different dimension where we come into, I think at the baseline, an experience of the planet, the Earth, and of nature as a living, breathing entity that we come into some experience of being an expression of, like we're not separate from the planet anymore. It's almost like an experience where we are the planet. There's no difference between people on the planet and the planet itself. And along with that, there are portals that open up in the 7th circuit to the dimension of autonomous archetypes. These are energy forms, energy patterns, God forms, etc., that have lives of their own, agendas of their own, that often in our dream life visit us, and we come into these certain kinds of dreams that are different than just dreams that we're processing our neurosis and stuff like that. But certain dreams are visitation dreams where we encounter such a strong presence of otherness in some entity or some person or some situation they're really kind of life-changing dreams that you wake up and all of a sudden, you feel different. Like what was that? That kind of dream. And so sometimes those kinds of entities that we experience in dreams will cross over into our waking lives, and we have these kind of large experiences of synchronicity and meetings with individuals that trigger all kinds of states of consciousness that we didn't know before, but somehow we can trace them back to certain encounters in the dream time. So the seventh circuit has to do with also dream time dimension, like the Aborigines of Australia. Their spirituality is grounded in Circuit 7. Circuit 8, things get, weird, probably as weird as the 8th Circuit brain can track an experience. That refers to out-of-body events where you come into experiences where you realize that you are much more than your physical body, and you come into an energetic body identification that's a little bit like in the dreams, like when you go to sleep in your dream and you embody a kind of dream ego, a dream body that goes to adventures in dreamland, that kind of thing. So that starts in dreams in the 7th Circuit, but in the 8th Circuit it moves up to a whole different level of strangeness and weirdness. And at the center point of Circuit 8 is identification with singularity, where all dualism completely is annihilated, and you come into not just an experience of no form or the void, but you really come into an experience where you realize, oh my God, I am the void. Void as true nature. Oh, this is who I've always been. I am nothing, and it's not a problem.